So this is an all-ladies session.
Hey.
Love it.
Hey, Matt
And
Spoole is an
Spoole.
important person.
That's okay. I'm comfortable.
Good.
I'll get more comfortable though.
So we're taking we're getting a look at Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I'm really excited about this one.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Very exciting. Spoole, would you like to introduce our guest?
This is Sarah. She's here to talk to us about Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
So my first big thing is this is the game, like what we see in the gameplay trailer you guys showed at your press conference the other day, is just massively improved from last year, even though last year looked amazing. Like, what changes are you making to the world?
So last year we showed like a behind-the-scenes kind of video where we showed a lot of white box footage. So obviously we have been working a lot with the environments and the world to make it just even more amazing. So what you see now is more in the lines of the game we're gonna ship. And we have a hands-on demo over in the EA booth. I really hope you get a chance to come over and play it.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Yes.
It's really, really cool. I mean, we've been working on this game for a long time, and finally seeing people get their hands on it and play it, and the response has been really positive. People really like it, so I'm just very, very happy.
That's exciting. One of the things that I want to point out, we're taking a look here. There's so much color this time around. The first Mirror's Edge was a very unique aesthetic, I can say it, unique New York, but it was a lot of white. But this time we see a cityscape. It's incredibly colorful and beautiful. How has the style of Mirror's Edge transformed from Mirror's Edge to Mirror's Edge Catalyst?
So the style and the art style and the style and tone was one of the things we really, really liked about the first game. So we've kept the same unique look and feel to it, but we wanted to evolve it even further and take it, with Frostbite, there's so much we can do now when it comes to making a really amazingly beautiful world. So I think that what we've done is basically just taking it to the next level, and I think that you will see, if you actually look at the first game, there is a lot of color in there as well, and we're trying to stay to that same color scheme, but we're making a lot of more different variety in the environment. So you will not only see clean white rooftops, you will also be able to explore different parts of the city, even the dark tunnels below the city and the really pristine, really, really high skyscrapers. So we're giving our players a lot more diversity when it comes to the environment.
Very cool. I want to talk a little bit about Faith, because in your behind-the-scenes video, you guys...
I'm so excited about this.
Sorry, I know. This is like the
we
one
talk
that
about Faith. This is going to be the best.
I'm so
I've got
excited.
a whole list of things.
I've been covering this in the news and very excited about it. So one of the things in your behind-the-scenes video was talking about breaking Faith down to her base colors, and there's this cool shot of her as all pixels, and getting to explore her backstory. So what can you tell us about the story of Mirror's Edge Catalyst as it relates to our protagonist, Faith?
So in Mirror's Edge Catalyst, we really wanted to make sure that there is a true character development to Faith. So she will start out as a pretty young, carefree runner who doesn't really care about the bigger conflict of the city. But as the events of the stories unfold, she will learn a lot more, and she will run into some of the secrets, and that will trigger a lot of events that will change how the city sees runners and how they treat runners. So along Faith's journey from this young carefree runner to becoming a heroine, the city will change with her and around her to adapt to her journey. So we really wanted to make sure that as the players learn and grow themselves, Faith also learns and grows over the course of the time, and then towards the end she will take that stand and become the heroine, and she will open the eyes of the citizens of Glass. So that's basically it. And we really wanted to put her in a more of a national conflict, like something that feels important. So that's also something we wanted to do. I'm not going to reveal too much. Need to keep something for playing the game as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
One of the things I actually really like about it is that the gameplay itself is just so seamless and amazing. It already was. How do you go above and beyond that? I'm curious because it's already perfect.
Yeah, but there's a lot we can do, and there's a lot we have done. So the first game was kind of frustrating at times, and we've really tried to make sure that even new players will be able to enjoy the gameplay, but for some really skilled players, they can keep that flow and they can keep more momentum. It will go faster, it will go smoother. We've also worked really hard to integrate the combat into the fluidity of the movement. So this time around, Faith won't be using any guns, because that was a pretty disruptive moment in the first game. When you got a gun, everything slowed down, you were trying to aim, and it didn't really fit with the core mechanics of the game. So in Mirror's Edge Catalyst, there's no guns. You're going to use your momentum, and how you combine that together with the takedowns to take out your enemies. So it's more of a martial arts inspired kind of combat, and it builds on the fluidity of the movement.
I was gonna ask, since you're losing the ability to use the gun, if there were gonna be new weapons, like maybe like stun batons or like anything like that. But it sounds like it's more just gonna be just her body, or like just momentum.
So the enemies will have weapons,
Yep.
but Faith does never pick them up. So she will
Okay.
she will just breeze through them and be like a projectile that plows through her opponents.
So we
She
see
is the weapon.
Yeah.
is.
Scary.
So we see young Faith in this trailer that you showed. Will we get to interact with her as a young child at all, or will it mostly be in memories?
Yeah, it's more of a story element. So you will have those flashbacks where you see bits and pieces of what happened to Faith and her family in the past.
Very cool. Very cool. How much bigger is this world than the last one?
So the first game was a bunch of different levels that you played through very linearly. This time around, we're building an actual city. So we see kind of the City of Glass is kind of like our second most important character of the game. It's got its own personality and it's got its own history. And you will get to explore all of that. So through playing through the main story, you will unlock more and more of the city to explore, basically.
All right, let's play a game called Fill Out the Dating Profile for the City. What's the city put down as its personality? Is it clean?
Oh, I think it's clean. I think it's very clean.
Is it,
I think it's a little rough and tumble.
rough and tumble? Up for adventure?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Spoole?
Spoole?
Experimental.
Oh,
Maybe a little bit.
ooh. Taking a turn. So I was reading that there's no loading times in these experiences.
So between missions, you're basically just exploring the city, and as you start a story mission, that might play out in an interior. So you just go seamlessly from free roaming an area and into the building, playing the mission, and then breezing out of that building and continuing to explore.
Very cool, because that's something that this game, and you touched on it a little bit earlier, flow is so important to the Mirror's Edge series. So it's really interesting to have this like seamless experience. I think adds to almost like the realism of Faith's experience. It's very cool.
Yeah, fluidity and flow is two of the key words we use throughout our development. It's really key both to the gameplay and to how the game flows, and we actually use it even in terms of UI, or when we talk about creating a trailer. Everything needs to give that sense of fluidity and flow.
So as the game is supposed to be a prequel to the original Mirror's Edge, are we going to see a lot of the characters that we know in Mirror's Edge that maybe had took a little bit of a dark turn? Are they going to be appearing in this in Catalyst, kind of seeing like a little bit of those signs? Or I guess how are some of our favorite characters from the original Mirror's Edge going to like make a replay in this one?
So we actually don't really see it as a prequel. It's more of a rebirth.
Okay.
Not a reboot, rebirth.
Yes.
We are building up to the character of Faith and who she is, and we're building on the world, but we're not staying, in line with all of the plot events of the first game. You will see characters from the first game, but we're not going into details
Okay,
of that.
that
right
kind of
now.
answers my question, because I was talking to a few people and we were like, is it a reboot or a remake or a prequel or what? So thank you, that
Yeah.
kind of answers that question.
No, we really want to make sure to make the best story possible, and the first game was out like 7 years ago, and if we're doing a prequel or sequel, there's a lot we really need to stick to, and we really wanted to give it the opportunity to just be the best story we could create, the best story that builds up to Faith and who she is and why she is a really cool heroine.
Awesome.
So the hands-on that you have at the booth, how much feedback are you taking from fans there at the booth to see how they play it, what they do with the demo, the paths that they take? How much will that affect the development of the final game?
So what's really cool is that we have our lead designer Leveler on the show floor, watching as people play and taking notes. Basically, he took a bunch of notes yesterday and sent back to the level designers. Like, oh, someone did this. That's horrible. Oh, we need to fix this. So we're listening a lot. I mean, to us, this is our first really big playtest. We have 1,000 people that are going to play the game during these 3 days, and that's just a really good chance to see, And what we've seen is as we expected people to be able to get through maybe 1 or 2 out of our 3 objectives we have in the free roaming section, but people are actually getting through all of them. Almost everyone, and that has not happened in our internal playtest, like with our tested lab. So apparently we have succeeded in making it more accessible to people because people are getting up to speed very quickly, and that makes me very happy because that's something we've been really worried about. You know, will people get the mechanics? It's kind of different from other games. It's really hard to get that across, but it seems like people are completely getting it and really liking it, so I'm very, very happy.
That's exciting. Will there be a demo?
We're not really talking about that right now.
Fair enough. Asking the just for me. It's not even for them. Not even for anybody at home.
Like
I
a
just wanna know if
private
I can
personal demo, maybe?
But you should take time and go to
Yes.
the booth, and you know we have a really nice experience. We have a BCD where you get some more of the story and some more details on the city and the world, and then you go out and play, and you can experience it for yourself. Like your life of a runner starts over there.
Yeah, no, the thing I think is so cool about Faith as a cosplayer is that she is somebody who people love to cosplay, but I was so underappreciated after the first game. You know, you'd see one or two, but cosplayers love strong female heroines, and she is an underappreciated female heroine in my opinion. So I can't wait for the explosion of cosplay that I'm sure you guys are going to have.
We already see, I mean, already from the first game, there are people who are actually tattooing her tattoo and for real, and that to me that's really impressive.
Was it hard to change her tattoo at all then? You're like, oh, I don't want to mess up the people who already have it tattooed on their skin.
So this is something that a lot of people have not been talking about. A bit of I don't think anyone's really picked up on it, but you will see parts in the trailer where she doesn't have the tattoo. So that's a little hint for our story.
Yeah, I saw she had like a half going on, and I was like, oh, neat.
There will be some things.
Faith is an interesting character in that even though it's a very first-person perspective game, and a lot of times when you have a game like that, the protagonist is someone that's very difficult to picture.
Sure.
Whereas everyone with Mirror's Edge, you know exactly who the protagonist is. She's very identifiable, very unique. You can see, you run and you see her shoes,
right?
Which is always really great. One of the things about it, because it's such a unique perspective, it's first person, but you can see limbs and everything. There were some. Like, I had some friends who said they got like almost vertigo. They were so immersed in the first game. Is that something that you guys like have to like work on, because it sounds weird. It's too immersive.
Yeah, no, a few people feel that, and especially if you're sitting like on the side of the screen and not right in front of it. But we're actually testing that. So on all our internal lab testing, we ask everyone who's playing if they feel any vertigo or nausea, and so far, that it's not a problem. So we are I think that it's because the movement is really smooth, and I don't think it's going to be a problem.
No, that's great.
Well, I think that's about all the time we have today for Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Thank you very much, Sarah, for coming on and telling us about the game.
It's okay, Meg.
I know Meg might pull you aside and have some more questions for you, but we're going to actually take a break and go watch some more game trailers.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stick around, guys. We'll be right back.